All right. I hope I hope you guys did not forget about the Almighty Doge. The Almighty Doge coin is it's a coin. It's a meme coin. It was a coin that was founded by the great Elon Musk, one who's hated by most, or hated by few, loved by most. A confusing figurehead, a confusing person, which draws me into wanting to be hyper interested in this gentleman. 2013, I was scrolling around on social media, just minding my own business, doing what I did. I started my Instagram account in 2012. By the way, if you guys want to go watch if you guys want to be absolute losers, if you guys want to waste away your day, Google, this is not shade at him. I love this dude. Is like, I want to be this guy. This is a gentleman by the name of Lex Fridman, Lexfridman, Lex Fridman. I think he's an MIT robotics researcher, or so he's a robotic researcher at MIT. I don't think he's a professor, but he's a scholar. He's an academic. He's an academic with a black belt. He's an academic with a big old brain that works really well. And he is I'm not saying this to like compare. I'm not saying this because he doesn't have his own lane. He has his own lane, but he's like a Joe Rogan like character, except with like the academic credentials. Whereas like Rogan doesn't have the academic credentials, but he has the time. He has the time played in the field, which is like a huge. That's there's a huge value to that. There's a huge value of somebody who maybe doesn't have the academic credentials, but they have time played, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can study all you want on how to be a plumber, on how to be the best plumber around. You can go to school, or you can go to Votech school, all you want, but if you don't get in there, if you don't start unclogging toilets, or you start doing pipe shit, or you don't start doing things, you're never going to have like the real knowledge on what it takes to be a plumber. And Lex Fridman is this gentleman. He's brilliant. And I've been listening to him. The first time I actually ever found him, I was so perplexed. And I'm putting you guys on some game right now. And every time I tell people Lex Fridman, I don't microwave this coffee, boy. Boy, we got microwave coffee on November 30th, the last day of Thanksgiving month. The day that we just planted our freaking sword, our flag, American flag. No, I don't think it was America. Christopher Columbus was not American. He was a Spaniard, right? He was a Spaniard. He was paid by the king and queen to come here and look for land, which he did. And then we took that mother over, and now we eat turkey. Why we celebrate freedom. Just kidding. Essentially that's what we do. I don't like turkey. Like, I don't like the idea of turkey for Thanksgiving. I don't. I am anti-turkey. I'm anti-turkey for Thanksgiving. I think it's wrong. I don't think we should have it. If I had the ability to choose what type of meat we ate for Thanksgiving, it would be beef. I would eat steak. I would eat maybe like hamburgers. What I would do is essentially just get the 4th of July, bring it on over here, and plop it down on the table. I would keep the mashed potatoes. I would keep the macaroni and cheeses. I would keep gravy. Gravy. I would keep the rolls. Honestly, I would keep green bean casserole. I didn't have green bean casserole at all this year, but green bean casserole is good. Is really good. I would get turkey out. I would get ham out too. Like, I know this is kind of controversial. So a lot of people who aren't like turkey lovers, usually they side with ham. Not me. No, I don't like ham either. Ham is good, right? Ham is fine, but ham has this like secret little thing in it. And I don't know what this thing is, but if you eat ham for, I don't know, at least 5 minutes and you're munching away, and this is like the chunk of ham. I'm not talking like deli meat ham. This is like chunks of ham. if you're eating it, cutting it up, sometimes you get like this bite which tastes like blood. It tastes like really strong. Like if you could just imagine like metal and just taking your mouth finger, which is your tongue, and just whipping that thing out and licking it. That's what it tastes like. It tastes horrible. And I get the same way with like chicken tenderloins sometimes. Like if you get like frozen chicken tenderloins, there's this little gristle on the bottom, and that would turn me off for life. I have like some food aversions I have. There's one, whenever the ham has that like metal blood tasting thing, done. Don't want it. Get it away. No time for it. Chicken tenderloins with that little gristle. Don't want it. Don't even want to look at it. Get it out of here. And the other one is white food. Like white food is such a turnoff for me. The smell of tuna, put a bullet through my head. No time for it. Don't want it. But the one thing this is kind of fascinating to think about. I've never once thought about it. We're about to go off, boy. We're about to go off, man. It was rough. I'm gonna get into like the COVID shit and all this fun stuff that's happening in these beautiful times that we're living in. These beautiful, beautiful American times. But I don't mind steak gristle. I actually like it. Like if there's gristle on steak, like especially when I was carnivore for about 2 months. I just sat there and I would eat the fat. Like I would honestly do that. It tastes really good, but it's a different type of gristle. And it also isn't like a surprise. Like, hey, gristle. It's like, I know I'm going to eat it. So it's a completely different relationship. Like that gristle is completely different than like the gristle that you get from like a chicken, or like the gristle that you get from like a ham. So happy Thanksgiving, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a good Thanksgiving. I spent it with my girlfriend's family. We actually went to Roanoke, which I'm going to get into all that. I know I've been really inconsistent with the podcast. It's not done. It's not going anywhere. I would be lying to you guys if I didn't have like thoughts of like, man, maybe I should just shut it down. It's a 2-year run. You know, I'm not going to sit here and like lie to you guys. Like, it's been hard. Like, I guess it's hard because I have so much happening right now. Like, there's a job thing happening. There's moving, which is happening, which it would be different if we're moving like 30 minutes away, but we're moving a whole state over, which is so exciting. But with excitement comes stress. So there's those two things. And then I'm also finishing up school, which is like, school's like biting me in the ass. Like I'm studying for work. I'm looking at apartments. We're going to apartments. I'm putting in my 2 weeks at work, and all this is happening. And then I'm like, holy crap, I have school too. Like I have an assignment that I got to write up today. I got a presentation I got to do in 2 weeks. Like there's just so much, this exterior nonsense. In my opinion, it's like, it's not like I can't do it. There's a value thing. And it's like, so anyways, what I'm trying to say is like, so the podcast has unfortunately kind of been pushed to the bottom, and I apologize for that. And I'm sorry for that. And I know I got one episode out last week, and I had to cut the podcast early because I got a phone call from somebody, and that normally doesn't call me. So I was scared that like something happened. You could probably hear the panic in my voice if you listened to the whole episode, but, nothing was wrong. They're actually just congratulating me on this new venture that I'm doing that I don't know if I'm ever going to talk about. If you know me personally, you might know, but there's some things I just don't want to bring in like the world of podcasting for many reasons, and this is one of them. I hope you guys can understand. You probably do understand. You probably wonder how I even do a podcast with like being a person. Like it's weird. It's honestly strange. I don't know one person in my life who has a podcast, which is weird. Like I wonder why, and I think it's because there's no need for it to have a podcast. And I wonder why I continuously do it, why I want to do it. And I think the reason why is because I like working on something. I like creating something that's takes me out of like the world of life. You know, like, you know, books do that for me as well. It's one of the reasons why I love reading so much. And it's one of the reasons why I can feel myself kind of entering this love, this relationship with fiction books. I've cut down my reading. The last book I read was Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows. And I read it about, I'd say 2 weeks ago. I finished it. I finished the whole Harry Potter series. And dude, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on fiction. I want to read Dune, but like I'm kind of like there's this internal nerd, this internal nerd struggle I'm having right now because like I want to continuously read nonfiction. Like I want to read stuff about Osama bin Laden. I want to read stuff about Mussolini, Adolf Hitler. I'm getting I can feel it coming. I'm listening to this podcast right now about like with Lex Fridman, which I need to continue. I need to get back and talk about that. Dogecoin, Dogecoin with that spike though. I need to stay on track here though. Like Jesus Christ. But I can feel like this new love and passion about Osama bin Laden, not like in the idea that I support him. Like if you heard what I just said and you're like, oh, he likes Osama bin Laden, he likes terrorists, he supports whatever. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. I have this weird sense of fear of ignorance. Like I don't want to ever be ignorant on anything ever. Like if I speak about something, I want to be able to grasp I want to be able to at least hug it, like put my arms around it, like know it just enough that I can reach my fingertips to each side around it. And I feel like I don't know that much about the Middle East. I know if you're somebody with like a Asian descent from the Middle Eastern world, like you're probably like, yeah, this is why, yeah, you dumbass American. Like, I totally agree, dude. Like, I don't know that much. My ignorance towards the Middle East, like there's this American ideology that the Middle East is just this crumbling world. And I'm speaking on what I was not like family wise, but like just being an American citizen. The belief that you have in the Middle East is that there's no order. And this is really dark, but at a time, like I would have been 6 years old when 9/11 happened. Right? No, 5 to 6 years old. And there was this sense of, for the next like 10 years, and it honestly, I'm not a Middle Eastern citizen. And I don't have any culture of the Middle Eastern lifestyle, but there still is this resemblance of like this xenophobia like tendencies to people who are from the Middle East. And we have this American viewpoint of what the Middle East is. It's this crumbling subset of nations, these second world countries. And I know I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking on, and I don't believe this now. I don't believe this now. I want to say that now. I don't believe this now. But you're brought up to believe that there is this crumbling nation state. There's multiple countries that all they do is make oil, that their faith is like not good. And this is what you're brought up as. And I don't like that. I don't want that. And you know, I would say it is bigotry, right? It's wrong, and it's a form of hatred, but it's at the root of it's fear and ignorance. And I think fear is like the strongest emotion, because when do people have the most fear? People have the most fear when they don't know, right? It's like that kid. It's like, so like if you're a parent and you have a kid who's, 2-3 years old and they're sleeping on their own down in their own bed, and they're scared of what's in the closet right here, which is funny because my podcast studio is my bedroom, the corner of my bedroom. Shout out to all OG podcast listeners who know that, because I'm we getting by, boy. We getting by. Yeah, and they fear what's in their closet, right? Because they know their closet. They know they put clothes in their closet. And I think there's also this there's this fundamental animalistic feeling that all young animals have. Kids, toddlers in this situation, 2 to 3 years old, whatever that is, of monsters, and I don't know if this is like a culture thing or society thing, or this is just a Darwinist evolutional instinct that we have. I think a lot of people fear spiders because there's something about their 8 legs that we just don't recognize. Our body just isn't adapt to it. Or that we know 8 legs equals danger. There's something about like a slithery line that goes across a snake, like that goes across the world, where it's like, what the heck is that thing doing? That's not how I move. So it must be dangerous. And I think there's like these instinctual things that we have. And one instinctual thing that we have is monsters, like I was saying. And a lot of this, what I'm saying, comes from like Jordan Peterson, and a lot of this comes from other scholars such as Steven Pinker, and other people that I've read. I think Yuval Noah Harari even talks about it too. Who Yuval Noah Harari is brilliant. I've read all his books, Homo Deus, Sapiens, and How to Live in the 21st Century. 21 Rules to Living in the 21st Century. Yuval Noah Harari is brilliant. He's become like this icon of literature. It's kind of cool to like be on like the cutting edge of it. I heard about him first from I don't know where I heard Sapiens from. I'm trying to think. I think maybe it was Tim. Who's the guy who does one of the first podcasts you guys have ever listened to? Not Tim Pool. Tim Pool's a journalist. Tim Ferriss. I think Tim Ferriss talked about Yuval Noah Harari, and I think I found Yuval Noah Harari through him. I could be mistaken, and I wish I wasn't mistaken, but I think I am mistaken by that. But anyways, he's brilliant. And anyways, what I'm saying, like, you have a 2-3-year-old child in the bed, they're scared what's in the closet. Why are they scared what's in the closet? Well, they know what's in the closet during day. They know what's in the closet when light is showing in there, and it can illuminate everything that's in there. The corners, the clothing, the underwear, the socks, anything that's in the closet, they know what it is. But what happens when the light is taken out of the closet? Well, now it's just a door where, yes, I know everything's in there, but I don't know what's not in there. I can't see what's in there. So you start developing all these ideas of, holy crap, what's in there? It's going to kill me. Well, the way you get around that is you take your child, you hold them by the hand, you turn the lights on, you hold them, you show them what's going on. Look, there's nothing in here. And then you just turn the lights off and you bring them back over while you're holding them so they feel comforted and they know that there's nothing in there, right? But the reason why they were scared of that thing, the reason why they didn't like that, the reason why they couldn't go to bed, and literally, if they did go to bed, they would have nightmares. Their brain would develop these images in their head that would create that as the enemy. And then there's a correlation to a 2, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5, 6, 7, 8, 45-year-old, 70-year-old bigot person who's living in, Alabama or in Annapolis, where they've created this idea that I don't know what this is, but it must be dangerous because I don't know what it is. My fear, my ignorance. And now you created this unhealthy relationship between something that you don't know and it's connected with your fear, right? So and then you don't like it. Then you tell people you don't like it, And I think that's the root cause of a lot of issues we have, is this fear and this motivation by ignorance. Not knowing that, not wanting to be ignorant. And also, you don't want to be fearful of anything. Some people, it's a very machoism thing, especially as a young child. Very machoism thing to say that I fear nothing. That's a common thing that people say. They say it in like TV shows, movies, especially men. Why is it so machoism to say that I fear nothing? It's because you know all. You know everything. If you fear nothing, that means you know everything. I fear that I growing up in an American society, I feared anything that was not capitalism. I feared anything that was communism. I feared anything that was socialism. I feared anything that was Middle Eastern because of 9/11. I was brought up in an era where there was a lot of anti-Islamic information being pushed by the media. It was twisted and contorted in these ways that if you see people wearing any type of traditional Islamic garb, they're bad people. And I'm not even saying this to I don't believe that, but that's what the messages were pushed. That's what it was. The same way that in a lot of these countries, there's this same ideology towards American Western people because of what we've done to their countries. Like there's this, I don't want to get too political here, but and the long story short is what I'm trying. Holy crap, dude. We are just like ADD, man. It's a bitch, bro. It makes me just lose my, I don't even know what I'm talking, what am I even talking about? But Dogecoin is going to the moon. Dude, these stocks, man, they got their, oh God, they got their dick stomped in the door, bro. Stomped in over nothing. Just kidding, not over nothing. It's a serious thing, man. COVID's a bitch, bro. But anyways, what I'm trying to say, there's this book You can get all the readings you want from Mussolini, you know, China. God damn, how do I not know his name? Oh my God, Mao Zedong. I think it's Mao Zedong. Is that his name? I hope that's his name. Mao. Yeah. Okay. Mao Zedong. Yeah. Okay. The former communist leader of China. Mussolini, Adolf Hitler. All these great dictators. These horrible individuals. And I'm not saying great as in like they were good people, but like great as in over the top, extremely successful at what they want to do, and which is disgusting to say. Saddam Hussein, all these individuals, just bad, murderous, bloody, thirsty individuals, power hungry individuals. But what I am trying to say is that there's this book I was listening to. A guy, holy crap, we're going to bring these together. I promise you, we will. So I was listening to a Lex Fridman podcast, and he had a gentleman on his podcast. This is going to be a clickbait title. I'm going to use Lex Fridman's name with Joe Rogan's name to get people to listen to the podcast. There's this guy named Robert Cruz. Robert Cruz. He's out of Stanford. He's a professor at Stanford. And he is let me pull him up exactly so I can tell you guys exactly what he is. I don't want to misinterpret who he is. But he is a historian who researched, Robert D. Cruz is a historian whose research and teaching interests focus on Afghanistan, Central and South Asia, Russia, Islam, and global history. A graduate from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, he received a master's in history from Columbia University and a PhD in history from Princeton University. But he goes on, and I'm about an hour into it, I think, maybe a little bit less, of his podcast with Lex Fridman, and he's talking about Osama bin Laden. He's talking about Afghanistan. He brings up this work. So you have all these messages to the world. There it is. So you have all these works that you can read. You can read Mein Kampf, which is the works of Adolf Hitler. You can read works by Mao Zedong. You can read works by Mussolini. You can read works by anybody who's a dictator, but most of them. But you've never been able to read works by Osama bin Laden. This one company called Verso Books was published by them. It translates 20. There's documents. It's a book which documents 24 newly translated public statements by Osama bin Laden from December 29th, 1994 through December 16, 2004. So a 10-year period where you basically just read about Osama bin Laden and what he says. And I'm interested. I want to read it. I'm reading a book right now about I'm trying to read this book right now about the Vatican and their relationship with the CIA. I'm not that I'm not interested in it. It's just I have like other focuses I'm trying to do. Like I'm trying to get like these things done I need to do for work. I'm trying to just move, and there's like other things that have my attention right now, which are totally fine. Like that's normal to have that. So it's kind of like taking a back seat. But once I settle in, once I have like, let me just see one thing real quick. Once I have like a lot more time, I know I'm gonna get back into like reading again. There's a lot of things I want to read. I want to read Dune, the Dune series, because they just came out with a movie. I want to read Novavax. Of course it is. Everybody's trying to do this new COVID thing. There's just so much I want to read, but I just, there's like times in your life where you kind of just got to buckle down and get shit done. And right now, that's kind of feeling that way. I need to focus on one or a few things at a time. I'm not the best at that. I tend to kind of just play the whole field, which is fine. You can do that, but sometimes you need to, come together and just focus on one thing at a time. Anyways, so the one thing I did want to talk about, which you just kind of like, anyway, so Lex Fridman and Joe Rogan, so I found Lex Fridman on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was a fascinating dude. I was like, why is this guy wearing a suit all the time? He seems young. He's a professor. Why is he a professor? He seems young. I don't know. What's he doing? And then as he spoke, I was like, okay, this guy's really smart. But he interviews a lot like Rogan, but he's not having these guests on to really Um, he provides a platform to let people speak about their education and what they believe when they come on the podcast. So like sometimes, like I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm kind of speaking out of my ass here, but he had the NIH director on, National Institution of Health, National Institution of Health. And they spoke, I'm sure, about COVID, and I'm sure they spoke a lot about Wuhan and stuff like that. And what I've heard from that episode, there was a lot of stuff that Lex did not push back on, which is, why would you not push back? You should push back. But I think the reason why he doesn't, and I think what makes him such a great scholar and such a great academic, and more than anything, a great human being and a great podcaster, which is like, saying that you were a journalist back in like the 80s and the 70s and the 60s and the 50s was like something to be proud of, bro. Like, you were a journalist. You were fighting for the truth. You weren't letting bullshit get by you. You weren't letting the establishment make shit up. You weren't letting the presidents throw like shit at the wall. Like, you weren't letting Nixon get away with Watergate. Like, you weren't letting people get away with things, and I think that's partially why I kind of, I don't hate Edward Snowden. I wouldn't say I fully respect him, but in a weird way, he was like, he let down the veil that a lot of people do not have the balls to do, and he lost his life. I mean, he's still alive, but he's not really alive. Like, he's in Russia forever. If he ever comes back to this country, he's done. And honestly, I'm surprised they haven't killed him yet, and I think the reason why they haven't killed him is because he is in Russia. If they assassinated him, like, Russia would be pissed. In a lot of ways, he's a puzzle piece to the system now at this point. Anyways, it's not Edward Snowden. But I think that's what makes Lex Fridman so good at what he does, is he does kind of let people just speak. And I think there's something to be said for that. He's not looking for like the gotcha moment. And that's what journalism used to be so respected, because they would nod their head. Okay, that's what Fox is saying. That's what CNN is saying. That's what BBC is saying. That's what the president's saying. Whoever it was, Bill Clinton, Richard Nixon, John F. Kennedy, whoever it was. Okay, fine, that's good, whatever. But journalism would be a thing where you would look for the truth. You would be skeptical of everything that they ever said. You'd be like, I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true. I think you're lying. And then they would do their research, look for facts, put things together, and then they would release these bombshell things. Like, I've never looked at the newspaper as like anti-establishment, and it is like, it used to be that way, and it doesn't seem like that way anymore. Like, there's clearly a just with like there's clearly a side that's taken in the world of media. It's like CNN is, if someone says they listen to CNN, there's assumptions that you can make immediately. They're most likely left-leaning, and they most likely hate Donald Trump and people who support Donald Trump. They're most likely voted for Joe Biden, and you could say the same thing for Fox. If you listen to Fox, you're most likely right-leaning, a conservative. You most likely support Donald Trump, and you most likely are not the biggest fan of Joe Biden, and you most likely, didn't voted for Donald Trump again in 2020. And so you have like these polarizing things, right? And so you don't really have a place where people can come on and just speak. And that's what Lex Fridman does. And Rogan does it too, but Rogan sometimes, and sometimes he does look for that debate, which is totally fine. I think you should look for a debate. I think debate also used to be a thing where, like, if you went to if you did a debate, you were like, people respected you. Like, I remember being in school and like you had debate club. You can't have debate club anymore. Like, what are you gonna debate? Like, in colleges right now, what are you gonna debate? You can't debate anything, because there's like this assumption that if you say I don't know if I exactly agree with blah 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 blah, maybe we shouldn't like pass this Build Back Better plan, because it's actually going to hurt people in the long run, because the middle class and the lower class is actually going to have to pay all the taxes, because the rich people are going to get out of it, and a lot of the politicians are rich and they don't want to pay more money. If you say that, Nowadays, you can't even be part of the conversation because the way it's interpreted is, oh, this person doesn't want to give money to people. This person doesn't want to support poor people. It's like, no. That's not true. Like, we know this in the world of investing, like quick money. We know this in the world of gambling. Gambling and the lottery is something that you do, right, to make a quick lump sum of money. But we know the odds are severely against you, right? We know this. We know this is statistically true. But if you gamble a little bit every single month over a long period of time, you will accumulate wealth. We just know this to be truth. But it seems like, I don't know what my point was with that, but it seems like you can't, but it seems like with like a lot of these bills that are being passed, like we don't recognize this, and we're kind of just trying to give money to people, and we're seeing what's happening. Like this, the consumer price index, the CPI, the inflation is like, it's through the roof, bro. Like, I think the new numbers are coming out for November there's new numbers coming out at 8:30. Probably sometime this week, probably Friday. They'll come out for November. But like, we know this to be true. We know this to be true that like inflation's not good. Inflation is a poor man's tax. Like, people don't want to admit this, but like inflation doesn't really affect the rich. Like, here's the truth of the matter. If you're making $1 million a year, you know what I mean? If you're making 7 figures a year, earned income plus interest, plus real estate income and interest income, and whatever other income you have, dividend income, all your income, let's just say you make $800K a year. And then you pay your taxes on that. Let's just say 40%, right? So $400K, you're probably taking home $500K a year. Okay. Inflation is going to suck, right? It's going to hit you hard. It's not going to hit you that hard, though. As long as you're living within your means, right? As long as you're not an idiot. As long as you're like, you have a house that you can afford the mortgage. You have one house, not like 1,000 houses, not like a crap ton of cars. But you're like, you're smart with your money. You made your money because you're smart with money. Okay, inflation is not going to hurt you. $50 a tank of gas it sucks, but it's $35, $40. $10 is not going to hurt you. But somebody who is just barely getting by, that 6% will crush them for life. It will hurt them, right? And there's this idea that you can just keep pushing money into the system, but it just, supply and demand is like it's almost as much as the truth as Darwinism and evolution. If you have too much of something, right, the price will go down of it. If you have a limited quantity of something, the price will move up. Why is gold so valuable? Why was gold so valuable to the point that we actually backed our US dollar was backed by gold? Because it's a mineral that is hard to get, and there's a limited supply of it, and it takes a lot of manpower to get it. So there's a small amount of it, so it's valuable. And like, why? And this is the magic of like apples. Like, they've been able to somehow have a crap ton of it and keep on increasing the price. And I think there's an asterisk with the supply and demand thing. If you can build a brand and make people married to that brand, you could push anything on anybody. And also what they've done this so well, and they just got me in it because I just made a purchase through them. They have these things now where you can make like payments over a period of time. So like there's this new world that we're moving into that I think we've already entered it. Where we're kind of moving away from the world of no deaths associated with the Omicron variant has been reported, the WHO says. Do the markets? I don't think I'm even going to have time to talk about the markets today. I wish I did, but yeah, I don't think I will have time. At least in this podcast. But things are looking up. We're looking. God, we just blow shit out of proportion, though, man. Like, God, dude, it's like, oh, this stuff drives me crazy, bro. We just blow stuff out of proportion for news hits. And it's like CNN and Fox made so much money on Friday because everyone was like, oh my God, with this new COVID. But like, there's this new model in business, which I think if you don't recognize it, you're an idiot and you shouldn't be in business. And I think if you recognize it and then you don't accept it, you should quit business. But there's this new model that companies are moving towards, and Apple has done it. And Apple has done it so well in the sense that they've created a credit card to allow people to do it. It's this subscription-like model, right? Netflix does so well because their investors know how much money they're going to generate every quarter, right? Every quarter is 3 months. Let's just say they do $3 million in 3 months. They do a lot more than that. That means each month they do $1 million. That means each week they do 250,000. That means each day, you see what I mean? You can keep dividing it, whatever. That is a model that works because investors know what they're getting into. It's easily predictable. If you have basic understanding of statistics, you can extrapolate that out, right? So you can take the trajectory and see where it's going. For so long, companies have been lump sum, lump sum, lump sum. There's this new world of like these afterpays and like these affirms where they do like you buy some. And I have no bull shoes. I have these shoes that I have, and which are brilliant shoes, by the way. It's all I wear now on my toes and my feet. I guess my toes and my feet are the same thing. Sorry, itching my eyeball. It feels great. These companies have been able to develop this thing where people feel like they're not buying as much, and I'm guilty of it, and I'm aware of what these companies are doing, and I subscribe to it, and I support it. I think it's fine, as long as you're aware of it. But even if you're not aware of it, I think it's your responsibility as a consumer to be aware of what you're doing with your money. But like if I want to buy a $1,000 watch, I don't have $1,000, but I have 10 payments of $100 each month, So like they've developed this thing where they're getting paid each month. So I think that kind of it allows a subscription-based model, and I think Apple has taken advantage of this. With their Apple Card, you can do subscription-based purchases. Like if you buy $100 whatever, you can do over 5 months. You pay this, or over 24 months. So like if you buy something that's $1,000, like that new iPhone, $1,300 divided by 24 months, $54 a month. Plus, you can trade in your old iPhone, and you can get it cheaper that way. It's only $10 a month. So $10 a month over 24 months is only $240, but you still haven't paid off your other one. And it's like this idea that you're never going to pay off your products, but what you are going to do is forever use their products because you can put old products into new products. And it's brilliant. And they have a credit card that's hooked up to it where the most benefits you get from your credit card is if you use their product. And it's like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. But as I'm winding down this podcast, I have not been able to hit anything that I really wanted to talk about. But what I do want to say is that this podcast will continue. I will continuously post episodes. It's going to be dodgy for a little bit because just with things going on, December is going to be a wild month for me and my girlfriend and just us. There's a lot of moving parts that we're trying to figure out, which is fine. And, that's life. And I get excited for it. Excites me. It's a mission, and I'm very mission oriented, and I have a mission right now, and my mission is to kick ass and to study hard and work hard and get through school. But a side effect of that is there's going to be weeks where maybe there's not an episode uploaded. There's going to be times where maybe there's one episode up. There's going to be times like hopefully this week where there's 2 episodes up. And that's just something that I just want to let you guys know. I want to be as transparent as possible. I'm not quitting the podcast. Don't think that. I'm going to continuously do the podcast because you guys continuously listen. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, my numbers have been down a little bit, but that's because I've been dodgy. That's on me. But you guys are still supporting it. When I upload episodes, you guys listen to it. I get hundreds of downloads a month. Hundreds of downloads a month. And I get multiple downloads on an episode. And then you guys watch on YouTube. So it's like, I would feel guilty, and I would only stop because life is stressful, and I don't think you should stop anything because you're stressed. When you're stressed, you need to buckle down, and I think that's when you really need to Put the metal to the pedal to the metal and get after it. So get after it, guys. That's really all I got for today. It's back to a full-length podcast, not a 20-minute episode like a clip from most people. I've been getting a little chunky. I need to cut out some carbs. I've been eating a lot of carbohydrates, but that's on me. My face is getting a little chunky right now. If you look at my face this time last year, it was a lot skinnier. Like all of December last year, I ran 200 miles. I don't know what I ran. 250 miles? I ran a lot of miles. I'm probably 30 pounds up. Probably 40 pounds. I was 190 at the time. I would say I'm probably 220 right now. I haven't weighed myself in a month and a half, but I'm probably like 30 pounds heavier, so we got to take care of that shit. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'll catch you guys in episode 245. I don't know. You guys keep showing me love. You guys are the best. And girls, you guys, and when I say guys, I mean both sexes and trisexes and animals and whatever. I love people. People are amazing. Humanity is amazing. We're all the same. We just have different fears and different education levels. Love each other, guys. Be well. Be well. I'll catch you guys December 2nd. I will catch you guys December 2nd. Happy Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah started, I think, the 27th or 28th? 28th, maybe. Happy Hanukkah. I don't really know what it is. I just know it's like celebrated. Maybe I shouldn't even say it because I sound ignorant, but happy Hanukkah. Maybe that's when I'm going to get into like the history of Jews. I'd love to know more. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you guys in episode 245. Peace out. See ya. Be well. Have a good day.